Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. That's right, that's right. Limitless lives. So glad that you're here. Wherever you're joining us from, whatever platform you're joining us on, whether it is LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or Twitch, and of course here on YouTube. We are excited that you're coming through. If you are on TikTok and you're seeing us, great. TikTok's been having some issues right now. So, anyways, but glad that you're here. And wherever you are from, whatever part of the country you're from whatever part of the world you're in, go ahead and drop that in the comments because we'd love to welcome you. Special shout out to our accelerator members who are out there. Thank you for coming through and joining us. Thank you for those of you who are joining because you've seen our product or seen our shows on your church's website, church's YouTube channel, your doctor's office, somewhere else. Thank you for coming through. Special shout out to our folks at Atlanta Berean in Atlanta, Georgia, Nashville Riverside in Nashville, Tennessee. I guess I should say Riverside Chapel in Nashville, Tennessee. And then, of course, the Magazine Street Temple Church there in Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you all for coming through and hanging out with us. We are right now, y'all. We are here. How many hours? 24 hours. 24 hours into the fast. If you are ending your fast today, congratulations to you. Kudos to you. And shout out. Wish I had some balloons and some streamers. We'll throw those up. Congratulations for making a decision that you were going to do what you needed to do to be healthy and you are taking charge of your health. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. If you are starting your fast today, as we go into the second day of our fast, congratulations and thank you for coming through. Go ahead and pop that in the chat. If you are day one, and we're going to go back to day one, you put a one. Day two, put a two. And day three, when we get to that, we'll put a three there. So if you are beginning your fast right now, you've just finished eating your last meal, or you are getting ready to start the fast, kudos to you once again for also taking charge of your health. Go ahead and drop that number 2 in the comments. For those of you who are ending the fast, I want you to put into the chat what you are eating or what you're eating right now. So in there, put end and then put the food. If you're starting the fast, I want you to put some food in there as well, but just put start and food. So just a lot of things that are going on for all of you, wherever you are. And then, of course, those of you who are joining us for our next leg of the fast starting tomorrow, we look forward to hanging out with you as well. This week we've been talking about discipline and the idea that discipline is not a punishment. It is not something that occurs because we're trying to curtail ourselves, but discipline really has to do with structure. And this week we've been talking about this idea of the non-negotiables. The 3 non-negotiables we introduced on our show on Monday, and they were the non-negotiable about food, the non-negotiable of health, and the non-movement, and the non-negotiable of mindset. So food, movement, and mindset. And those 3 encapsulate the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. So if you walk through the health action plan, you see that all of those are folded into what we talk about when we talk about non-negotiables. And it's just a way for you, it's kind of a cheat sheet, if you will, for you to think about what it is that we're doing. And I would make a change here. Just a second. Give me just a minute. Let me hop over for a minute. There we go. Needed to make a change to something real quick. Okay. And actually, it didn't happen. So hold on. Don't move. All right. There you go. Okay. Get rid of some of that noise. All right. So non-negotiable. So when you think about the non-negotiable food, the balanced bites and fasting fold right into that because how we fuel our body is important. What we think about in terms of our food and how we are sending signals to our body. Remember, food is not just about nutrition, it's not just about the calories. There are calories that come from the food, and there are also hormonal signals that are sent through the food. So, food has several components to it. And so, how we think about food and what we do, very important. So, that non negotiable. What is the thing this week? What is the thing today? What is the thing as I move through this space of being healthy? What is the thing that I'm gonna concentrate on? So non-negotiable food, and then movement. The non-negotiable of movement. When we think about strength training and our 100-day walk to consistency, making sure that this structure, this body that we have, that's utilizing the food, is taking full advantage of the nutrients that we're giving it. Because if you eat, and I'm going to just use a silly example, if you eat a cookie and you don't do anything about the cookie, then guess what happens? Then we throw the whole system into metabolic dysfunction, because the cookie, in addition to the calories, the cookie also has some signals that it sends to the rest of our body. So movement is a way of offsetting some of that. Oh man. So often when I'm in my office, I talk to people and I tell them, I said, if you want to eat more cookies, then exercise more. And notice I use the word exercise, but I really don't like using that. But it is what we do, right? Metabolic optimization via exercise, right? It's not a bad word. It's not a dirty word. It is what we do. And simply that is moving, right? So making sure that we're moving. So when we move, we also set our bodies up for success. And then the non-negotiable of mindset, and this actually folds in the last three components of the health action plan, which are mental mastery, rest and restoration, and structure and planning. All of that's folded into this. And so the three non-negotiables that we introduced this week really are just a shortcut, a shorthand to remember that I am paying attention to all aspects of my metabolism, and that shows up when we think about those non-negotiables. So what is your non-negotiable? All right. What are your non-negotiables? I guess I should say. So one for food, one for movement, and one for mindset. Right. Go ahead and drop those in the comments. We go ahead and let's say see some of our community members out there. Let's go ahead and say hello. Let's go back up here, and we got Steve. Steve saying hello. What's going on, Steve? Glad that you are here. Teresa says hi, Doctor and Steve. Hey, Teresa, thank you for coming through. And then Steve started to say, let me see, Bowie. So, Bowie saying hi to Steve. Glad that you were here as well. And then Steve says, ending a 24-hour um, ending 24-hour plans are to go long. Okay, so we're planning to go longer. So ending 24 hours right now. So thank you for putting that in there, Steve. And Bowie saying hi to Teresa. Hello, Teresa and Bowie. And then Teresa saying hi to Steve. Just everybody just saying hi to each other. I love that, love that, love that. And then Pamela saying hi all. What's going on, Pam? Thank you for coming through. Steve, hi to Pam. Let's see. There we go. And I'm doing this on my this small screen. So hi, Pam. Okay, and then Teresa saying hello to Pam. Oh, awesome, awesome. Okay. So non-negotiables. So right now, 24 hours, 24 hours. If you are ending the fast, right? Kudos to you, put a 1. If you are starting the fast right now, kudos to you, put a 2. And then if you are going to be doing our fast starting tomorrow, then put a 3. And we are right now in our 24-hour period as we head into the second third of our 72-hour fast for this week. So one of the things that I want to point out, and one of the things I want to talk about, is as we're talking about these non-negotiables, there are little snapshots. And we talked about receipts, and we'll be talking more. Come to our show tonight. We'll be talking more about receipts. So these little snapshots are glimpses into the progress that we're making. Let me pause there, right? So when you see an A1C and that A1C is constantly going down, like we have people who show up and their A1C started at 14 or higher. Actually, we saw someone yesterday whose A1C was 17. So when we start an A1C of 17 and we're going down to 12 and 10 and 9 and 8 and 7, right? So we are seeing progress. So these are snapshots into what's going on the inside. Now, we're not necessarily shooting just for that A1C, right? Because we want to be metabolically healthy, not just, hey, is my A1C better? Right? Some people will say to me, hey, I want my A1C down. How can I do that? I said, well, we got to get the blood sugar down. They said, well, no, how do I get the A1C down? Well, remember, the A1C is just a marker of what's going on with blood sugar. So there's no way to get a good A1C. There's no way, well, there's no practical way that is beneficial to get an A1C down without improving sugar. So the A1C is a marker, it is a surrogate of what the blood sugars are. So if we want to know, are we getting good blood sugars, then we can look at the A1C. But as I said to you on our show on Monday, when you walk into your doctor's office, if you're diabetic, then you should never be surprised at what the A1C is, because the A1C simply is a reflection of what's going on at the house. If you're not diabetic and your weight continues to go up, there should be an indication to you at home of what's going on there, because you should be checking your weight. Now, I know a lot of people don't get on the scale because they think this, or the scale causes some anxiety. And a part of what we want to do here, part of what we want to do in this space, is we want to take those numbers and put those numbers in perspective so that the number itself doesn't cause the anxiety. Because remember, the number is just a marker. The number does not cause you physical harm. The number is an indication of what's going on the inside. So as we're walking along the path, we're seeing those mile markers go by. The numbers, A1C is lower, the blood sugar is lower, my weight's lower, the scale says something different, right? So as we're driving down this road, we're seeing those things happening, and they are just markers of our progress. Oh, come on, come on. Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that as we are thinking through the day, as we're walking through the day, if I am keeping my non-negotiables in mind, then the markers will continue to go as I'm walking down the path, right? So the markers, I'm driving down the road, and those mile markers are just ticking away. But because I know I'm heading in the right direction, those mile markers are just indications. They're just reinforcements to me that, yeah, this is where I'm heading. So what are your non-negotiables, right? So non-negotiable for food, non-negotiable for movement, and non-negotiable for mindsets. So here at the 24-hour mark, just a couple of things that I want you guys to remember is, number one, we want to make sure that you are remaining hydrated. And I don't have my mug with me here right now, but I've got it out there, and I'm just running into my office, or my soda actually, running into my office and drinking. Right, so you see me with my mug on screen, but make sure that you are hydrating. Make sure that you're paying attention to that. When we fast, because we're not eating, we tend not to also be thinking about drinking. So making sure that you're getting in the right amount of fluids. Now, for those of you who may be you have some heart condition, or you have some issues with liver or kidneys, you want to make sure that you're taking in the appropriate amount of water that your doctor has told you. All right. Other than those folks, other than those people, we should be able to get that in. Get that in to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. And I tell people, just make sure that you're at least sipping throughout the day, right? Make sure you get a bottle and you're sipping throughout the day, because sometimes if you're not doing that, right, if you're not mindful of doing that, then it kind of gets away from you, particularly if you're doing fasting. So number one, right, make sure that you are remaining hydrated. Number two, make sure that you are getting good rest. Now, last night I went home, I picked my son up, we got to the house, we talked for a little bit, talked to my wife, and I got in the bed and I went to sleep. And I slept, y'all, from like 8 o'clock, 8:30, and woke up this morning about 3 o'clock and kept sleeping, and then didn't get out of the bed till 5 o'clock. So I got a good night's sleep last night. Okay. So make sure you're getting good rest so that you can continue down this path. Right. So 24 hours. Tonight, when we do our check-in, we'll be at 33 hours into into this fast. And then, right, so hydration, make sure we're resting. And then one thing that I want to continually have you practicing. Remember, the things that throw us off course from our health plan. And I'm not even just going to talk about fasting, right? Because all of our health plan, the thing that throws us off course, those are the things that we call those triggers. And the triggers come in one of four different groups. They are habits, emotions, access, and taste. Let me see if I got that one up here. So habits, emotions, access, and taste. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Habits, emotions, access, and taste. What do those look like? Right. So there they are. You see them. The things that the habits that we've gotten into, those places where, and let me see if I can pull this up a different way. Okay, maybe not. Those things that we do all the time, the things that are constantly in, we go to the movies, and when we go to the movies, we eat. So that wasn't intended for that. Hold on. Let's get back here. There we go. Okay. Just a second. Just a second. Let's get that back off the screen. All right, here we go. All right. Yeah, so those things that we do just because that's what we do. Right? There you go. Okay, I'm back now. All right, let's try something different there for a minute. So, those things that we do just because they're what we do, right? We go to the movies, we eat popcorn. We just finished eating at the house, but we show up, and because we're at the movies, we get some popcorn, we get something at the concession stand. Somebody comes over to visit the house, and what do? We offer them something to eat, and we sit down, we eat with them, we snack with them, right? Because that's just what we do. Habits, emotions, those things that drive us, the anxiety, the worry, the depression, the fatigue, even the boredom, they push us. And when they push us, when those habits, when those things get high enough, they're going to push through the decisions that we made about our eating and about our activity, right? So move, metabolic optimization via exercise. I'm tired. I come home. Oh my God. I can't go do anything else. So what do? We sit down, and even though we planned that morning that we were going to go walk around the block, we don't walk around the block because of emotions. The other thing is access. There are things around us. There are things I can't keep at my house. Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I can't keep that at the house because as much as I like Cadbury chocolate, oh yeah, Ben and Jerry's, right? Probably. Well, they're very close. They're very close. So I don't bring them at the house, right? When I go out, if it's there, I'll have some. But yeah, we don't bring that to the house, okay? Anymore. We used to bring a lot of it to the house, by the way. So right. So habits, emotions, access. So having those things around us, it's kind of you walk past your coworker's desk and they've got some candy and you grab some. Why? Because it's there. Not because you wanted it, not because you thought about it, not because you planned for it, but it just so happens to be there. At your house, you get up to go, you're watching TV, you get up, go to the bathroom, you're on the way back to watch your show, and you're like, hey, yeah, we have those chips at the house. We have those chips in the pantry. Let me go get some. Why? Because it's there. If it weren't there, you wouldn't have gotten it. Notice we're not talking about your willpower. We're talking about structure. And the structure you created, right, is going to help you. So if the structure is that I don't have chips at the house, guess what? When I get up to go to the bathroom and I'm coming back, I can't have chips because there's none there. And then taste. And taste is so encompassing. It goes to memory, it goes to behavior, it goes to how we feel, right? So we taste, that taste reminds us of when mama used to do this and when daddy used to do this. It reminds us of when we were growing up and that time when we felt that way, when we were with that person, we ate that thing, right? So taste is just all of this just wrapped up in there. And of course, when food is made, when food is constructed, when it's produced, it is not designed necessarily to be your health thing. The food is designed so that you buy more food. I'm putting my hand up. If I'm a manufacturer, right? If I'm running a company and I'm making some food, I want you to come back and I want you to buy more. I don't want you to be a one-time customer. Now, that's not a conspiracy. That's not a demonizing food, right? But that's what we do. If you're a guy who cuts lawns or a gal who cuts lawns, or you do hair or you do nails, what do you want? You want repeat customers. And how do you get repeat customers? You get them to like what you do. So if I'm making food, I make the food so that people like the food. Because there's no point in making food if they're not gonna like it. They're like, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever eaten. Well, guess what? You got one customer, that one, and they're gonna tell other people, hey, don't go eat that stuff because that stuff is terrible, right? So the taste, right? So the bliss point, that is the perfect combination of sugar, of salt, and of fat. So that when you eat it, when you taste it, you're like, man, I can't just eat one of this. I'm gonna go get some more, right? And so we develop that process. So habits, emotions, access, and taste. I'm gonna put that back up one more time, and hopefully we can get it down. Boom, there it is. Habits, emotions, access, and taste. Uh, there you go. Awesome. Okay. And so we want to make sure that you understand that. So those are the things that push us. So how do we combat that? How do we come back? Well, habits, we've got to learn how to break those habits. Emotions, we've got to learn how to deal with the emotions. Access, we've got to clean our space out. And taste, we've got to understand what drives it. And one of the most important things that we've learned in this community is our COPE model. That clarify, observe, pause, and execute. COPE: clarify, observe, pause, and execute. And that is what allows us to be able to walk through those triggers and be able to deal with them. Remember, the prefrontal cortex is the thinking part of our brain. Prefrontal, I'm saying here. Prefrontal cortex. Below that is the amygdala, and the amygdala is the part of the brain that's our survival, right? So the amygdala says, "I see a tiger, let's run." But then the prefrontal cortex says, "Hey, we see a tiger, we don't have to run because the tiger is behind the bars in the zoo." Notice, same tiger, same trigger, but different response. How did that happen? Because the prefrontal cortex took over. And so the COPE model, clarify, observe, pause, and execute, is a method of allowing us space, some time for the prefrontal cortex to take over. And so those are, go on the channel. We did several shows on the COPE model. We walked through the entire thing and each of the components. But that is something that I want you to begin practicing, understanding your triggers, and then how do I put something together with it so that those triggers don't automatically push my button. Now, the triggers are going to be the triggers, right? They are the way they are. They're there. And our plan is going to be or our plan is, how do we manage manage ourselves? Like, I can't change the fact that they make the food that way. Taste. I can't change the fact that, hey, I respond a particular way to that thing. But what I can do is I can learn how to begin blunting that response. And I can learn how to not have that trigger in my environment. So if I'm bringing cookies and candies and cake at the house and then I get triggered, guess what? I brought that in, but I can make a decision not to have that there. Emotions. COPE model, once again, how do we deal with those emotions? Right? We've got to learn how to understand what the emotions are and to begin putting some things in place that allows us to not automatically go down that slide. It's a slippery slope, right? So once the emotions come and it gets high enough, we're going down. We're going down that track. And so our goal is, how do we pause, give ourselves a pause so that we don't make it all the way up that hill and then come on down. And then habits, right? There are habits that we've developed just because that's how they are. Like somebody said to me just today, I said, well, I eat. I eat when I'm at the house. I said, why? He said, I don't know. Yeah, I just eat. Well, there's a reason. I'm bored, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I'm whatever it is, right? So and the habit, the emotions that went with it has now become a habit. So you don't even think about it anymore. So understanding what those are, very, very important. Okay, let's see. So we see, let me go back here and say hi to some of our community members. We see it. So Steve, we talked about Steve. Cornelia says, hi, everyone. Hey, Cornelia, what's up? Glad that you're here. And Teresa saying hi to Cornelia. Glad that you're here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. All right. So our non-negotiables: food, movement, and mindset. And we'll come back, join us tonight as we deal with well, not deal with, but as we do our show. We're going to be 33 hours into our fast. We'll talk a little bit about those mile markers that we talk about, right? So the receipts, what does that mean? And how receipts are much better than motivation, right? Because they are a signal to us. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. I'm so glad that you are here. Go ahead and drop in again if you're fasting us day 1, day 2, or day 3. So 1 for day 1, 2 for day 2, and 3 for day 3. And of course, if you're doing a total fast with us for the entire week, go ahead and put a T in there because we'd love to give you a shout out and a kudos. If you have not joined our community yet, make sure you do that. You can get to YouTube if you're on there. There should be a button down here somewhere on your screen that says join. That allows you to join into our community, and you get to see behind the scenes. You get to see some things that the general public doesn't see. And if you are interested in installing this as a permanent part of your life, if you are tired of being on that hamster wheel, tired of trying this and trying that and not sticking, make sure you join our accelerator program. If you go to our website, dwainwoodmd.com, and scroll down past the welcome video that I have, there's a little section down there where you can get the download PDF for the Start Here playlist. And then right below that is a button that says Learn More about our accelerator program. Come join us and get off of that hamster wheel. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we're living limitless lives. And remember, limitless living says that I'm not allowing anything from outside to prevent me from doing what I need to do. No circumstance, no situation, no other person, and I'm not allowing anything from inside. None of my insecurities, none of my past, none of my triggers, none of my trauma, none of those things are going to prevent me from doing what I need to do. I'm showing up. Come on. I'm showing up with my best self, my best health, and my best plans. Notice it doesn't say you have to go fix it and then show up. It says you come as you are. And as you walk down the path, as we go through that process, we are getting better. I'm breaking through the boundaries. I'm pushing through the obstacles. I'm not allowing the constraints to confine me. I'm doing everything I need to do to be successful. And what is success for us? Remember our definition. Our success for us is not the A1C, it's not the weight, it's not the blood pressure, it's not the cholesterol. Success for us is how do we stay alive as long as possible, and how do we stay as healthy as possible? That's the goal. We want to make this a positive, we want to make this a personal experience. I want to watch my son grow up. I want to see him graduate from college. I want to see him start a family. I want to see him get into his life. I want to be there. My wife and I have been putting a lot of work into growing our practice and growing the things that we do. And we've put all that time in. I want to be able to spend time with her as we travel and do lots of different things. I want to be healthy for that. You may want to watch your daughter walk down the aisle. You may want to see your son develop his career. You may want to see your grandchildren learn about the family and take them back to where you grew up and share all that information. Whatever the thing is that you want, that's what we're doing. This is not just about that number. It's about the long-term benefits that we have and that we want. It is, how do we keep you alive as long as possible? How do we keep you as healthy as possible? So you can do all the things that you want to do in your life that bring you joy and that take you to the next level and creates that life that you've always wanted. All right, everybody, go live a limitless life, and we will see you tonight on our show, 9 p.m. Central, here on Dwain Woode, MD, and we'll see you in the community.